to Shoreline Manufacturing. Today we're going to be comparing our stainless steel heater box versus our competitor's aluminum heater box. Today we got some differences on these guys. Wanted to talk to you guys about it so you know what you're getting before you order it up. So, first main difference obviously is the stainless versus aluminum. We have the 100% stainless, all the fasteners, studs, everything, riv nuts, clips on the inside, everything is 100% stainless. The aluminum box, we've got some steel riv nuts in there, so you'll get some corrosion going between the steel and the aluminum. So one of the biggest differences between the aluminum and the stainless are the spot welds on the stainless. So the Shoreline box is completely spot welded all together, all the way around, all the edges, all the faces is all spot welded together down and around, and same with the other side here. On the aluminum box we have rivets, a couple rivets down the side, and then on the bottom we just have a crimp. There's no rivets, no spot weld, and on the sides we all have the same crimp there as well. Another difference is on this side here. There's some trucks that have some receiver dryers and some thermostat switches that mount on these studs. We've got the two M8 studs up top to hold the receiver dryer, and we have the two M6 studs down below to mount your thermostat switches. Some trucks have them, some trucks don't. If you don't need them, if they're in the way, you can cut them off. If you do need them, leave them there. The aluminum box doesn't have those, so you'll have to find a way to remount your receiver dryer or thermostat switches when you get this box, if you have those options on your truck. Another difference is right on the front here. We have the mounting studs go right through the front of the firewall to mount the box to the firewall. The aluminum box just has holes, so you have to use bolts. Some cases that might be okay. On this case, we have this bottom stud actually goes through the firewall of your truck, so you actually have to put a nut on from the inside. So you'll have to use two people to put that on with the aluminum box, because you have to hold the bolt on the back side, put the nut on the inside. Difference up top here on the recirculation door flap. We have the holes on the stainless box and the aluminum box does not. This mounts your recirculation door flap, which you can see in our gasket video. We will show you all about that. This one doesn't have the holes up top there. On the bottom, we have studs on the bottom there. There's some different wiring harnesses that hook onto those. Also, we have the drip tray drain as well. So if you need to, you can hook a drain hose up to that so it drains out like it's supposed to. On the aluminum box, you don't have the studs to mount your wiring harnesses to if you have those options, and there is no drain tube on there. So this is just going to drain out the bottom and drip wherever. On the inside of the box, one of the biggest differences is this little tab right here. Doesn't look like much, it's just got one little hole in it, spot welded on. That's actually quite a big deal for the older trucks. They have a air-powered recirculation door. The air-powered recirculation door hooks into the flap that is on the plastic housing of the side of the heater box, and it turns that recirculation door flap in there. Without this tab, the older trucks can't use their air-powered recirculation door flap. Some cases that's a big deal, some cases it's not. On the inside here, one other thing that we've got going on is our heater core standoff brackets right on the inside there that are spot welded. They're on both sides here. So what those do is those actually support your inner baffle plate from resting on top of your heater core and evaporator core, so you're not going to get any wear. On the aluminum box, what we've got going on in here is their heater core standoffs aren't as tall. So what will happen is when you put your fan motor in here, It's either going to rest down like that, and it'll rest on top of your heater core and your evaporator core on the inside, or they did put some rivets up top here that you can set it on top of. So if we slide that back in there and set it on top of there, that works nicely. The only problem is it forms an air gap right here. And what that's going to do is that's going to leak air back out of the box, because this is your pressure side of your heater core box. So if that leaks air, you're going to lose air pressure up to your windshield or your defroster or whatever's going on there. On the Shoreline box over here, you can see our baffle plate slips right in here, rests right on top of those pins down there, or the brackets on the bottom. Rests on these pins up top, keeps it up and off your heater core and your evaporator core. No gap on the side, everything looks good there. We tried to copy the exact OEM box, so that way it's a direct fit replacement. No differences. You can use your stock Kenworth parts, internal parts, to put this thing together. Next, I'm going to talk about the fan covers. So as you noticed, there was a fan on the aluminum box internal baffle plate. The Shoreline box did not have that. We are actually working through the last bit of our inventory with this style. We are going to be switching to a similar style that uses the aftermarket fan motor. That gives you a little bit more CFM to help defrost your windshield, get you a little bit more air pressure in the cab. So the differences between these two parts are kind of irrelevant at this point. Same thing with the fan cover here. Obviously we've got the aluminum fan cover, we've got the Shoreline fan cover on the inside. We aren't going to discontinue this model in case somebody still wants to use their factory fan motor in here. We will maintain this model in stock with us. One thing that is a big difference is there are some trucks out there that have an ECM blower. This little knockout right here. If you have the ECM blower, there's actually a wiring harness that comes in and hooks up to your ECM blower. You can knock this out if you have that wiring harness. If you don't have it, you can leave it right there. The gasket set will cover it up from the backside. Obviously the aluminum box does not have that knockout. You got the gasket on the outside. Just to show you on the inside, there's not a knockout in there. That's it for the fan cover. On the lower cover here, you can see we've got a couple little differences, pretty much the same, but nothing really big deal. Just a little bit of quality that I noticed. We've got nice 90-degree angles on the quality here. The aluminum box doesn't have nice 90-degree angles. On the back side, we've got two standoffs that hold your heater core and your evaporator up against the front standoffs inside the box, which is the same as the factory. The aluminum box only has one, so it's going to kind of put some uneven pressure on your heater core box and your evaporator. One other thing I noticed when I got this box, you may not have this issue, but when I got this box, I noticed this riv nut is actually loose. So to actually get the box apart, I had to go inside and hold this with the pliers and loosen up the screw from the outside. Not a big deal. I like the concept. Keeps everything nice and tight on that. But overall, that is the differences between the Shoreline stainless box and the aluminum box. So one thing that I wanted to just add on to this is the biggest difference between these two boxes is stainless is not going to rust, it's not going to corrode. The fasteners are completely 100% stainless, so nothing is ever going to rust or corrode on the stainless box. The aluminum box, overall, aluminum is a good product, but you're still going to get corrosion, and then with the steel fasteners in here, they are going to rust on you as well. So after a while, you'll just get a rusty, corroded box.